Welcome back to Tranquility du Jour, nourishing conversations about living a full and meaningful life with doses of tranquility. This is episode 532. I'm your host, Kimberly Wilson, bringing you tranquility through this podcast since 2005. Whew, that's a long time. All right, so today I'm so excited to chat with you about creating a capsule wardrobe. Now, the thing with this I want to mention is that on Saturday, March 27th, I'm going to be hosting an online pop-up, a free event, where basically I bring a lot of these concepts that I'm talking about on this podcast in a video, which I'm going to link to on this podcast in the show notes. KimberlyWilson.com/532. I'll also have a link to join this event. You can find the event at KimberlyWilson.com/TDJ-style, or just head over to the show notes and click the button. So this event that I'm going to be hosting, which again is going to be a visual representation of bringing everything I'm talking about in the video and in this podcast to life. I'm going to be sharing how to create and style a capsule wardrobe, which I'm going to talk a little bit about also in the podcast. I'm going to show it at this event. Also exploring ways to transition your winter wardrobe into spring. I think so often we think, oh, I need to have like a summer wardrobe and a winter wardrobe. I used to do that years ago, 20 years ago. Now I live in layers that are seasonless, which makes it easy peasy. But I'm also just going to give some ideas on, okay, how do you take that big bulky sweater and still wear it with something that is springy? You're going to also hear from some amazing TDJ aficionados. And when I say TDJ, I mean the clothing line TDJ, formerly Tranquility. And they're a few lovely ladies who joined me last summer for the TDJ pop-up, which was then Tranquility. And anyway, they are amazing in the fact that they love the line, they wear it a lot, and they wear it in multiple ways. So you're going to hear and see from them. You're also going to get ideas to live and style your tranquility every freaking day, which is a beautiful tagline that my friend Carol came up with. And it also is like, okay, how do we show up in this way that allows us to live a tranquility-infused life and then also kind of wear tranquility-infused clothing? And what does that mean? It means ease. It means effortless ease, right? And feeling good and doing good, right? Because with TDJ, it's locally sewn, it's eco-friendly, we plant a tree for every item that we ship, and we donate to Pigs and Pugs Project, which the mission of that organization is to make the lives of pigs and pugs happier. All good things. Also in the event, you're going to connect with a like-hearted community, receive a discount code to shop TDJ. This is something that I'm really excited about because I haven't had this for my former kind of style pop-ups, but I have a really beautiful workbook that my graphic designer has pulled together. We're still crystallizing, but if you sign up for the event, you'll get a link to it, and it's super duper cute. And my hope is that it's like helpful for you too as you kind of contemplate how to create your own capsule wardrobe, which again, I'm talking about in today's podcast. And you're also at this event going to hear why we've taken, or I've taken, the plural. The plural is like, it's funny. I always say we, but it's like, okay, it's like me and my seamstress and my graphic designer, on occasion, but it's like, it's a very small operation. But you're going to hear why TDJ is now all noir. Okay. Why is it all black? And a lot of the practical reasons behind it and the style-driven reasons behind it. Okay, so that is the event. That is really going to be bringing to life what I am talking about in today's podcast and on the video that I'm going to reference, which is the latest Tea with Kimberly episode, number 28, Create a Capsule Wardrobe. Now, in today's podcast, you're also going to hear why a uniform is helpful. So why I've been living in the same thing for years. And it's been really helpful, of course, through the pandemic because, it's just, again, easy peasy. No one necessarily sees it. But I will definitely layer it and spruce it up whenever I am seeing clients and add more fun shoes than the leopard print slippers that I have been living in all winter. And then you're also going to learn some ideas on how to pare down your closet to the essentials. Now, of course, essentials vary for everyone. So my suggestions are just kind of some basic classic staples. However, yours may be completely different, meaning your lifestyle may be quite different. Say you're a nurse, you're always living in scrubs or a uniform of sorts. Well, you're probably wearing other clothes, when you're not in your kind of work uniform. So thinking about this from a lifestyle perspective of what are the different things you do? Like, are you off to brunch on Sundays? Are you, going out bookstore browsing? Are you, I'm thinking about all these wonderful things that we'll hopefully be able to do very, very soon once we're through this pandemic. Are you going out on dates? Are you in corporate meetings? Are you running an organization? Are you working in a cubicle? Are you working from home? Are you on the floor playing with toddlers or dogs all day? Whatever it is, it's just thinking about, okay, what are some classics that if you had these in your wardrobe, you could easily be dressed up or dressed down within moments and super duper comfortable. That is the key to really styling your tranquility and living your tranquility every single day. Now, a reminder to please hit the subscribe button for this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, Overcast. I've got links to all of this in the show notes. And those of you who may be new to Tranquility du Jour, a huge, huge welcome. And you can find out more at KimberlyWilson.com/new, and you can download a manifesto and the tenets. And this tenet, of course, we've got 5 tenets, and this tenet clearly that we're talking about today is all about style. Now, again, before we dive in, I wanted to also invite you to Sunday Night's Adventure, which is my seasonal free masterclass, TDJ Live. So these events I've been doing for 10 to 15 years seasonally, and it's a way to come together as a community to just kind of check in, see how things are going for you in this new time of year, and a little reflection on the past few months, excitement about the next few months, and, some tools that will help us as we kind of navigate this time of the year. So I hope you'll join me. It's always a really, really sweet, fun event. And if you miss it, the replay is available usually within a day or two for $10. It's a download. And of course, a portion of all the proceeds benefits Pigs and Pugs Project. But if you join live, it is a free event. Okay, so March 27th. I already mentioned TDJ Style Pop-Up. That, again, is a free event. The replay will be free, so if you miss us live, no worries. If you sign up for the event, you will get the replay. And then last but not least, I've got a lot coming up this spring, and then there's a break for a bit. But April 3rd, which happens to fall on Easter weekend, is our spring virtual retreat. So this is 3 hours dedicated and devoted to you to really kind of do some exploration about where you are, where you want to be. And I think it's a beautiful time to be thinking about it because we're hopefully, fingers crossed, on the tail end of, this kind of quarantine lockdown that we've been experiencing for the past year. Which I hope that you are subscribed to my love notes. And if not, I just want to share one thing that I put out last Friday. And again, hope you're subscribed. If not, you can do so at KimberlyWilson.com/love notes, because I really do try to send lots of kind of inspiration in those. They're pretty much weekly. And in the last one, I talked about oh my gosh, can you believe that we are a year in, right? It's been a freaking year, which is just crazy. I kind of can't believe it. And anyway, in this musing, I gave 4 journal prompts that I thought may be helpful to do some reflection on as we think about the fact that it's been a year that we've been living in this quote unquote new normal. So I want to share these questions with you in case they're also inspiring and helpful for you. Now, I will put these over in the show notes also. So, number one, what have I learned over this past year? Number two, what have been the challenges? Number three, what have been some of the perks of life slowing down? And number four, what am I most looking forward to once things normalize? Right? So in this piece that I wrote, I talk about how for me, like some of the challenges from gaining weight to struggling to get in like my basic 2,000 to 4,000 steps a day. Ideally I'm doing 10,000, right? But these days, because I'm not walking around the city a lot, sometimes I'm not even walking the dogs as much because we're elsewhere and they're roaming. So, it's been a big shift, right? I've definitely lost loved ones, which is heartbreaking. Canceled international retreats that I spent months planning, all the work that goes into that. And I've eaten far too many Thin Mints, lots and lots of sugar, craving comfort. Okay, so that's just an example of some of my like basic kind of challenges. But then there's also been some blessings, right? So I've enjoyed being with my fur babies 24/7. Like we have not been separated really at all. Spending more time with my partner, Tim, has been really delightful, and especially at the start of the pandemic in the evenings, which, often we weren't together because I was with clients, and by the time I got home, it was dinner and then bed. And so, during the kind of start of it all, we were doing a lot of like campfires and of course during winter fires at night. And, it's just like, it's been a really lovely kind of wind down experience for my evenings. Taking virtual ballet classes, become obsessed and been doing tons of those, including private lessons. Having limited choices has really helped my decision fatigue and my tendency to overschedule, right? It hasn't been like, oh, what should I do something this evening? Oh, do I have time to fit in a tea date with so-and-so? Right? It's like, no, you don't. If you can't sit outside and you can't do it safely and, it's like, it just doesn't work, right? And so in a way, even though I've really, of course, missed that terribly, it's also been kind of nice to be like, no, it's just kind of existence right now. And then, of course, even seeing open space in my day book. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen so much open space in my day book. And what's crazy is at this time last year, I was like booked solid through like mid-July. So it was going to be 3 months of crazy travel. I'm hosting 2 international retreats, all sorts of things. And it was just, events that I was hosting, all sorts of really fun stuff. But I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? And then the pandemic, of course, ended all of that. And I don't think I want to go back to that life. I really, really like the less scheduled existence. And it doesn't mean I don't have fun things on my plate, like all the three things that I mentioned to you at the beginning of this podcast, but I'm not going to be over scheduling. Again, please hold me, mark my words, hold me to that. And I hope you too have been able to notice some shifts kind of with all of this, that hopefully there have been some perks along with all the kind of many, many, many challenges, lives lost. I know it's been so incredibly hard. And, in this piece that I wrote for the Love Note too, I referenced this great article, which I'll also put a link to in the show notes, called Getting the Laundry Done Might Be Good Enough. It was in Psychology Today. And the author wrote that, how some people are baking bread and learning new languages during the pandemic, which is great. And yet, if you're not, you may feel like, oh, what am I not doing? Like, how am I not doing this? Because I have all this time that I didn't have before because I'm not traveling or out and about in the same way I used to. I know those of you with kids, it's like, completely different, right? Because it's, you're pulled in many more directions because they're home. And you're home. But for those of you who that's not the case, you may have found a lot of extra time and you may be like, oh, why didn't I do all these things that other people are doing and talking about on Instagram or that I wanted to do? And the author says that, we've had to learn a completely new way of living in this past year. And with that comes a lot of mental energy. And that is actually can prevent us from being able to do additional creative things because we're having to reorient our lives completely. And so I thought that was just really helpful. And I wanted to share that with you because I think that no matter how you come out of this, hopefully we are more resilient. But whether or not you've learned how to bake bread, survival is key, and resiliency is key, and you've grown and developed in so many ways that we probably never even thought possible, never even fathomed. And so, again, I just wanted to share that with you because I hope it's helpful as we think about this 1-year anniversary of all the craziness that we've been through. Now, the other piece that I just want to kind of mention before we head over into today's podcast is if you have a moment to head over to iTunes or any of these platforms to leave a review of this show, it would mean so much to me. I know a lot of you are longtime listeners. I mean, long time, like going back to like the 07s and 08s and 06s and 05s when it started. And I would really appreciate it if you took a moment just to either hit the 5-star, hopefully, or to leave a review, to write something. It helps, ideally, other people find the show. And now there's so many amazing podcasts out there. And so it would mean a lot to me if you took a moment to do that, or if you just drop me an email to let me know that this podcast is meaningful to you. I would really, really appreciate that. And you can find me at hello@KimberlyWilson.com. All right, so here is today's podcast on all things creating a capsule wardrobe, why a uniform is delightful and delicious, and also what are the closet essentials that, ideally we have little pieces of them so that we can easily transition from day to night, work to play, etc.
So what I wanted to chat with you today about is creating a capsule wardrobe, right? So there's things that you can just wear over and over and over again, and you can mix and match them. And you don't have a closet full of things that you're not wearing, right? Because we tend to, on average, wear about 20% of our clothes. And I would say probably during COVID, that has probably been lessened because I think we're living in the same things over and over again. One thing that's been really helpful for me over the years is I have what I call like a uniform, right? So it's this top, which is a 2-in-1 fitted top from my clothing line. 2-in-1 meaning it can have the high neck or turn around and you can see it's also a lower back, right? So you can switch it and then you have 2 different looks with it. And then I wear capri leggings. And what's great about this is then I can also throw a skirt over it if I need to look more professional, right? Or if I want to even just add kind of more layers, like say during spring, I may want to have an open toe shoe, but it's still a little chilly. So I would wear like a tall knee sock over the capri leggings, a cute little open toe clog, and then maybe a skirt that kind of covers that. So that goes to about the knee. So it's just interesting how you can take 2 pieces from like a uniform of sorts, and then turn it into something that you can wear in multiple ways. I mean, I've worn this to the Kennedy Center, right? So of course, I'll add an additional layer, maybe like a skirt or some really fun tall boots and like a tulle skirt, one of like our mini mesh skirt from the TDJ clothing line, or, maybe something that's fun and sparkly. But again, I just add it over. This is my go-to layer. And what's great too is I can transition, roll out the yoga mat and do some yoga, and I don't have to change clothes or, pull my ballet bar over and start doing some plies again. And I'm in clothing that I just feel great in, super comfortable, and also goes with really everything. Okay, so that is my idea, kind of around creating a uniform, right? So with that, it's like, why spend all this time trying to figure out every day what to wear? Now, you may not want to wear the same thing every day, but I do encourage you to think like, could you have a base, right? A base that you could easily mix and match and layer, all about the layers. Now, if we want to look at capsule wardrobe, typically people will say it's like maybe 10 pieces to say 40 pieces. And these are just pieces that you wear a lot and they mix and match. So, the thing that I like to do is go through my closet. I do this annually. I take everything out and I dump it all over my bed. My dog hates it. My partner hates it. It's like chaos for like 4 hours. And then what I do is I go through piece by piece. I put it back up in the closet if I intend to keep it. I donate it. I pass it along to a friend, kind of whatever happens with these various pieces. I usually have like a couple of bags of things that I will donate. And then from there, I will, look at, what are these different pieces and how can I pull them together into different looks and outfits? So say you would take, maybe you wanted to do, this is ambitious, but say you wanted to get it down to 10 pieces. Well, then what you would do is look at your wardrobe, your 10 pieces, and then look at, what are the ways that I can wear these together in different ways to create new outfits? And it's amazing what you can do with just 10 pieces. So on March 27th, I am going to be hosting TDJ Style Pop-Up. And basically this is, how do I create a custom or my own, like sort of capsule wardrobe that works for me? And I'll just give you a peek into kind of like mine in general, right? And then we're also going to be joined by some TDJ aficionados, people who have worn this clothing line for years, and they'll show how they wear some of their favorite pieces. And also showing you how to style some of these pieces, right? So the idea is, how do we create something that is just super easy for us? We don't have to go through decision fatigue in the morning of what do I wear? We have our go-tos, and our go-tos look great together, and they travel well. That is another really critical piece. Even though we may not be traveling much now, in the future we will be. And, it's great to have pieces that you can just roll, like versus dry cleaning or, to hang and worry about wrinkles, like all those sorts of things, right? How do we make life more easy? That's really the idea behind a capsule wardrobe. And what can be fun too is to like maybe take some photos of you in the various looks, because we can forget, we can just always go to our go-to and be like, so this is a way to pair 1, 2, and 3. So if you were to go through and number each of the pieces, and then you create a sort of 1 + 2 equals this look. 1 + 2 + 3 equals this look. 5 + 10 equals this look, right? And then you've got all these great looks that come out of just these basic pieces. So what are these basic pieces, you might ask? Now, of course, this is going to vary for everyone. I do think a little black dress is a necessity. So I love like wrap dresses personally. A black pant, a black top, of course. I know a lot of people like the white top, like a white kind of crisp shirt, very French. Dark denim jeans, always great. Some sort of a jacket, whether or not it's a trench, a faux leather. Faux fur, of course, is fabulous. And, oftentimes though, just, outerwear or accessories are not included in those 10 pieces, right? So you can have a variety of those and still have a 10-piece wardrobe. Definitely some sort of skirt. I like skirts that can also be brought up into a dress format. So say, for example, we have a maxi skirt dress. So it can be a long maxi skirt to the floor, or pull it up and we've got a tube dress, right? So super versatile. So thinking about what are those pieces that you like, I gravitate to it, I feel good in it, I'm super comfortable, but yet I feel pulled together, and some additional layers. I also love like wraps. So that would also go into my 10-piece, right? Like a wrap tunic, something that you can just kind of wrap around yourself or wrap around your shoulders or wrap around your neck. So thinking about like, what are those go-to pieces that you wear regularly, you feel great in, and you think you could pare your closet down into really focusing on these. All right, so I hope this was helpful as we think about how to create a capsule wardrobe. And I would love to hear your tips or what you have also found to be helpful in this process. And I hope you'll join us on March 27th for the TDJ Style pop-up event.
All right, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. A reminder to head on over to the TDJ Insiders Facebook group, and please join us there, because we have a beautiful online book club. And this month we are reading I'm Invincible by Norma Kamali. So fashion forward. And she's amazing. She's freaking 75 and she gives so many helpful hints. Avoid sugar that I think you might find inspiring. Matter of fact, as I say this, I'm looking at my bottle of tart cherry capsules that I got based on her book. So I hope you'll read along with us. There's also a link to sign up for my love notes that I mentioned earlier. A link to my 6 books and planner, and would love your support of those. And if you like them, would love for you to leave a review on Amazon or Goodreads. I would so appreciate that. You can also find my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. All right, so thank you as always for tuning in. It's always a delight to be with you, and thank you for inviting me into your day, your living rooms, your ears, your homes, your cars, wherever you are listening. And I hope to hear from you. Again, hello@KimberlyWilson.com, and many blessings for a beautiful week ahead. Namaste.